Hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having an awesome day, and today's video is going to be a new thing for me. It's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. There's been two video ideas that I've had for a while that I've been meaning to try out, and since I feel like I want a new chapter on my channel as of the recent events, I wanted to start doing these things. My channel is still a makeup channel, but I want to do, like, I do hair videos and stuff, but I want to integrate like my old videos. So I used to do Weirdo Wednesdays where I would talk about true crime, but it didn't really fit my channel because it was just true crime out of nowhere, a mix of a million hair and makeup videos. So today is the first episode of Hair Time and True Crime. I'm going to do something to my hair, usually dye it or do a conditioning treatment or do something to my hair and talk about a true crime story as like a mix. This is kind of inspired by Bailey Sarian's makeup murder mystery Mondays and stuff. She talks about makeup, or she does her makeup, she talks about true crime. But I want to do my hair and kind of integrate my old Weirdo Wednesdays into it too. So that's what we're going to do today. And yeah, we'll be back to regular makeup videos tomorrow. I just wanted to see what you guys think of this. And without any further ado, today we are talking about the case of Jessica Baggen. I got my resources from the Trail Went Cold podcast, which I adore. And I'm also testing out the new Arctic Fox Pool Party Ultra Hydrating Foaming Hair Mask. So we're going to use this today. I'm going to tell you the story. We'll come back, show you my hair, and talk about what I think of the story. So let's get into it. Alright, let's get started with the story. If I do another one of these videos, I will do it with my face done, but I just woke up and didn't feel like doing it. So the instruction for this hair mask is to apply it as a pre-shampoo and like apply it to all the dry dead ends of your hair, or use it as a leave-in afterwards. So I'm going to use it beforehand. In Stillevana, Alaska on May 4th, 1996, after celebrating her 17th birthday all night at her sister's house, 17-year-old Jessica Baggen walked home along the bike path to her house. Along the way, she was sexually assaulted and murdered and dumped into a wooded area. On May 5th, following day, when her body was found, her cause of death was determined to be asphyxiation. Also, she had gotten some kind of blunt force beating because both of her eyes were black, like she had taken a beating from some object. The bones in her throat were crushed to determine asphyxiation as her cause of death. Now, a little bit about Jessica. She had 3 siblings. She also lived with her parents. She lived in Suic'de, Alaska, which is the largest borough in the United States, with a population of only 9,000 people, and this area is only accessible by boat. Jessica loved cooking. She started cooking the fish that her parents and family would catch on their fishing expeditions and thought that she would be a great cook when she grew up. Now, Jessica was celebrating her 17th birthday, like I said, at her sister's house. She started partying in the afternoon time on May 3rd, and around 1:30 a.m. on the 4th is when she left her sister's house after partying with some friends and just celebrating her birthday and having a great time together. Now, no one saw her on this bike path. There were no witnesses. Now, she was reported missing pretty soon afterwards, which is why they knew to look for her and find the body the next day. But 11 days after her body was found, there was a confession to this crime. On May 15th, Richard Bergham walked to the police department saying he needed to get something off of his chest. Now, he didn't know if this was 100% true, but a friend had convinced him that, possibly it had something to do with this. And it really sank in with Richard, so he went to the police. Richard claims that he could have been responsible for Jessica's murder. He'd been out partying all night with a bunch of friends, and he blacked out and then walked home. And this path could have crossed with Jessica at some point, so he went to the police thinking, hey, maybe he did this, because he was blacked out and couldn't remember. He had some strange dreams about some weird stuff and thought maybe it was linked to a repressed memory of that night. Now, with 8 to 12 beers in his system and some drugs from partying, there's no way to determine whether this was fact, but as a confession, the police took it, and Richard was charged with murder. Richard Bergman was charged with murder in the first degree, 2 counts of sexual assault in the first degree, and a count of tampering with physical evidence, which could have been up to 120 years in prison. However, even with this confession, Richard pleaded not guilty to all the charges because he couldn't determine if they were actually true or not. And there was a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that it wasn't true that he did this. Richard's houseboat, which he had walked from his friend's house when he was partying that night to pass out, was searched, and there was no physical evidence found that Richard had been anywhere in there. There was also witnesses saying that the clothes Richard had partied in that night. He was seen waking up in those same exact clothes with no blood or anything wrong with him the next morning at his houseboat. And also the timeline of when Richard walked home would not have crossed paths with Jessica. He had walked home around 12 and Jessica had started walking home around 1:30, and it did not take him an hour and a half to walk home from where his friend's house was. So he was already passed out and asleep by 1:30 when this time Jessica walked by would have been. Now we hear a lot about people being fed to false confess, and a lot of information said in Richard's statement was incorrect. He kept getting all the information wrong, and when eventually he had landed on asphyxiation, he said nothing about stuffing dirt into Jessica's mouth. There was a lot of dirt found in her mouth at the time when she was found, like stuffed in there, which could have helped her asphyxiate as well, but she had crushed bones, so she really was asphyxiated. But Richard said nothing about that. He said her face was in the dirt, but that would not have caused the amount of dirt that was found in her system. There was also Jessica's clothes were found nearby her body. She was found nude, but they were found near her body, and there was some blood, like spots of blood on them that did not belong to Jessica. So they assumed they were from the perpetrator, but they did not match Richard. Bingham's confession also had Jessica's outfit wrong. They said that she was wearing sweatpants, and in fact Jessica was wearing some jeans at the time she was walking home. He claimed to have bit Jessica in the center of the back during the struggle, however no bite mark was found, and basically all the information that he had didn't fit up. The timeline, the manner of death was pretty much fed to him, even if he got the details wrong. Everything that he said that was correct was public knowledge. So there really was no physical evidence pointing him to this crime, and since he was high and drunk, you couldn't really take his word for it on any of the information anyways. He didn't actually fit the timeline, so how could he have done this crime? Besides the blood, there was also 5 pubic hairs found at the scene that did not match Richard either. So with all the physical evidence and all of the police fed information, which was the only correct thing, all the evidence that didn't line up, all of the wrong information he gave to police, Richard was acquitted of all 5 counts, and he moved away from the state shortly after this just to avoid everything, which I would too. Especially in Alaska, I feel like there wouldn't be that many people there. You need to avoid all the drama around you, especially if it's lies. And there's not been any major leads or suspects to this day since Richard was acquitted. Now this is an ongoing investigation, but police feel like they had the right guy, so that's where a lot of the fresh leads and everything went to, is they feel like they had the right guy, because 11 days after she was murdered they already had a confession, so obviously that's where the majority of their focus went. And now I'm gonna wash this out of my hair and we'll see what I think about this story. Okay guys, so this is the hair. It's still like a baby bit damp. I blow dry my hair and it's usually really frizzy, but I feel like this hydrating mask, I like it. It's like I did a deep conditioner on my ends so they don't feel nearly as dry, and they feel a little stronger. They feel like I did just do Arctic Fox on my hair, which is like a kind of conditioning treatment. So this is what my ends look like up close. They're still like frizzy and stuff because I did blow dry it, but I haven't heat treated any, like straightened or anything. It's just how it goes. And honestly, they look better and more. They just feel good. Like they feel like they have more moisture in there, which is great because my ends are usually just like fried little bits. So this, I didn't use that much of it. It's still like practically full. I think I'm actually gonna finish it up pretty fast. I think I could do that every time like I'm about to take a shower, you know? I feel like that's good. So love the hair mask so far. That's really nice. I still need to try their dry shampoos, but I really like it. Now let's talk about the story, the case, what I think. So as far as Jessica's death, I don't think it had anything to do with Richard. He did admit to it, but I feel like a lot of kids party, they hear about a story in their town, and they're like, oh, maybe I've seen her before, blah, blah, blah. If you've ever had something happen in a small town, which I know there's only 9,000 people in this town, so I'm calling it a small town, even though it's a borough. I think that a lot of people are like, oh, I knew her in high school. Oh, I must have crossed paths with her. Hey, I walked that bike trail she was found on. And with all the wrong information and him being drunk, him being seen the next day at his house, at his boathouse, wearing the same clothes, the DNA matching, not matching, the blood not matching, the hair's not matching. I don't think he had anything to do with it. But of course, we've heard a lot of stories of false confessions before, and they're extremely frustrating. They're extremely frustrating. But then people like Adnan Syed from Serial, if you know Serial, they get stuck with stuff like that. Like, the justice system is flawed. But everything is. Honestly, every system is flawed. We don't just blame this one here on this channel. But as far as what happened to Jessica, I think it was probably just a crime of opportunity. It was probably just someone offering her a ride home. If she had been partying, if she had been drinking, I know she's only 17, but partying is partying. I don't know what she was doing. She could have been more apt, or maybe she was really tired because she had been there since the afternoon. It was then 1:30 in the morning. Maybe she would have been more likely to hop into a car with a stranger to catch a ride in there. That happened, but she was found nearby the bike path, so I'm thinking maybe someone just hopped out, offered her a ride, she said no, and maybe she was attacked. With her eyes being black, with black eyes and stuff, so like she had been bludgeoned with something too, it really does seem like there was a struggle, obviously. I don't understand the point of stuffing dirt in the mouth. I feel like that's really different, like stuffing dirt in the mouth. Asphyxiation is also like a very personal attack, but it also can be very like spontaneous. If she is putting up more of a fight than you expected, I think maybe that could happen. But it is like being strangled is such much more a personal thing because it can take minutes at a time, honestly. But the stuffing in the mouth, I don't understand. It could have been to keep her quiet while she was assaulted, because she might have been screaming. I mean, who wouldn't be screaming at that point? But I don't know exactly. I don't have any idea on who it could be. I would that sounds so stereotypical. I would be like, were there any trucks driving by in the middle of the night? Because truckers love to drive at night when the roads are clear. I don't know how that works around there though, because you have to get on a boat to get to the island or the borough. So I don't know, but I don't have anything. The police don't have anything either, it seems like, and it's just really a sad case overall, especially because she's only 17. And when you look up this case, there's hardly any information. Like, the trail went cold is where I got all the information for this. I took like pages of notes and stuff, but I kind of summarized it as best I could because I feel like every single detail wasn't completely necessary because it takes me a really long time to film these videos. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about this case down below. Let me know what you think of the hair mask. Have you tried it? Do you want to try it? What do you think? Love Arctic Fox. And thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed, I'd greatly appreciate if you did that. Please leave me some feedback down below. Do you like these kind of things? I don't want to do all this research if you guys don't like them, but I'll see you guys later. Bye.